Watertown Whiskey presents reality after shows coverage of the NFL Weekly Preview Show with Survivor Legend Jonny Fairplay, Survivor 47's Gabe Ortis, and producer Bobby Goodsby.
Hello there. Welcome in to the reality after show NFL preview and recap week. Really excited to get into this week. A whole lot going on in the NFL. 4 weeks of the season done, and boy, are there some storylines forming here. My name's Gabe Ortis, joined by producer Bobby Goodsby. Johnny is at his wiffle ball game tonight. So he is in a professional league of his own right now as we talk about the Professional Football League here in the U.S. So this is a very interesting week that is brought to you by Watertown Whiskey. Drink responsibly. Whiskey made with natural flavors. Because I feel like there were some heat checks, and we talked about that last week going into this week 4, that there were going to be some games where there were teams that looked really good in the first 3 weeks of the season, but it was kind of that, okay, are you just off to a good start? Did you have some easy games? Teams are still kind of figuring it out, or are you the real deal? So I want to look at some of those heat check games right now. I think the one that stood out to us the most was the Colts versus the Rams. The Rams also playing tonight on Thursday Night Football, going up against their divisional rivals in the San Francisco 49ers as they welcome them to SoFi. But this was a game that, I ended up picking wrong. I like the Colts a lot going into this game, but I think the Colts, despite losing, showed that they put up a good fight in this game. It was a one possession game throughout most of it. It ended 27-20 in favor of the Los Angeles Rams, who were also at home, so they had a bit of an edge there. Daniel Jones did not have the best day. 262 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions versus Matt Stafford's 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So it was a fantastic day at the office for Matt Stafford, who just seems to age like fine wine. But I thought the Colts showed that, okay, they didn't win this game, and it was a heat check for them, but I think that they showed that they are more legit than people thought. It wasn't just 3 soft games to start their season, and then they hit, a good playoff caliber team, could even be competing for a Super Bowl, which is maybe too early to say that for the Rams. They got a lot of injuries, I'm sure. Not that I want to wish that on them, but that always kind of come their way. But I don't know. I was impressed with the Colts in this showing. What did you make of this game? What did you take away from the Colts? What did you take away from the Rams?
Yeah, honestly, it was much closer contested than I thought it was going to be. I thought the Rams would kind of, get away with one here, especially against a hot Colts team, which they did. They ended up pulling it out, but it was a lot closer than I expected. I honestly think the Colts might be for real. The Colts are impressing me. They're able to get it done on the ground with Jonathan Taylor. They're able to, keep going with Danny Dimes, and Danny Dimes looks like a totally reincarnated version of what we thought he could be coming out of the draft. I mean, going back to that playoff game against my Vikings a couple years ago, he's playing like that every single week so far this season, and it's really good to see. I'm happy for him. It just shows what kind of mess the Giants organization really was. But the Rams are still the Rams. The Rams were obviously able to pull it out. I think the Rams are one of the top tier teams in the NFL right now, and I'm really excited to see them play tonight against the Niners.
Yeah, it's going to be a good Thursday night game. We've gotten a few good Thursday night games so far this season, which usually it's the opposite. I mean, we had that Seahawks Cardinals games where the Seahawks won on a last second field goal, which was really fun. That was a battle the entire game. We had that Bills Dolphins game a couple weeks ago on Thursday night. That was also pretty fun. And we have a pretty good one tonight now. It's Mac Jones and a pretty injured 49er squad. So you have to think the Rams are going to run away with this one, especially at home, but we'll get to that in a little bit here. We had our second international game of the year. 9:30 a.m. kickoff, 6:30 a.m. for all the folks on the West Coast, especially you, Bobby. The Vikings taking on the Steelers. Now, I was huge on the Vikings going into this game, even with Carson Wentz at quarterback against the Pittsburgh Steelers led by Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin, just because the Vikings are always so good international. But the very first Irish game of the NFL's history goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. What did you make of your Vikings in this early kickoff? Was it worth getting up for?
Hell no. It was the hardest thing ever getting up that late when you work nights as a bartender. I ended up getting up at 6 just to be up in time to watch this game. I ended up going back to bed in the third quarter, only to wake up in the last stretch of the fourth quarter to see that we actually have a chance in the game of making a comeback, which we didn't. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to discount the Steelers win, because the Steelers absolutely put on a show, especially DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf tore us apart. Ivan Pace Jr. just looked like a mess out there. He's been a mess all year. He's just not what he was when he came into the league as an undrafted free agent. Honestly, might have to switch up things there. But we have a lot of injuries on the Vikings, like a lot. Like the most injured I've seen my team in many, many years, where 3 out of the 5 starting offensive linemen are now out of the game. We have not had our starting line play together the entire season. And we probably aren't going to get that till at least week 7, barring any more injuries.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take away from the Steelers, but this is a very, very hurt Vikings team right now. Our right tackle, Brian O'Neill, went out with what we thought at the time was going to be an MCL tear and was just devastating. But it turns out it's just a sprain to his MCL. So he's week to week. So thank God for that. But why was he out there on special teams? I still have no idea why our starting right tackle is out there on special teams for a field goal. But I digress. This game really came down to, obviously, the Vikings are very hurt. Carson Wentz is not the guy. When JJ McCarthy comes back, he will be the starting quarterback for this team.
That feels clear.
And at the end of the day, our playmakers have to make plays. This defense was not stopping Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf in the passing game in the first half. Second half, they definitely looked a little bit better, coming back in, almost making a comeback in that game. I also want to take a knock on the NFL. The NFL had a problem with putting up the clocks in the end zones for the quarterbacks to be able to see what the clock count is at. They said that there was a malfunction with the equipment, so they decided to just not even put them up there. That is a major issue. We are talking about a $1 billion organization, the biggest sporting company, conglomerate, whatever you may say, in the United States. And we can't go abroad and make sure that the clock equipment is correctly working. One of the most valuable things for a quarterback on the field to keep track of where he is on the field with the clock management. That's absurd. I'm sorry, I'm knocking my mic, but that's absurd. That absolutely should not happen. It should not happen going forward. I'm not saying that's the reason we lost, by no means. But for that to happen in an NFL game overseas, and you say, oh, well, we decided to scrap those clocks because they had faulty equipment. Why do you not have backups? It's $1 billion organization. Yeah. It's unacceptable.
It's a debut game in a new location too. Like, you should think everything should be as prepared as possible. Yeah, exactly. I thought that the Steelers in this game, well, I think they did play well. I thought Aaron Rodgers played pretty well. Ended up going 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 18 for 22. I thought they handled the end of this game very poorly. Mm-hmm. I thought that they gave the ball back to the Vikings in a situation where they probably could have gone for it. I think it was like 4th and 5, and they were right around midfield, and they chose to punt. I thought that was a really weak decision, and I thought that they gave the Vikings a chance to come back versus the Vikings kind of earning the chance to come back. I just had a lot of questions about how the Steelers were kind of managing this game. And I thought that they got out to the lead, but they didn't really hold the lead very well. And the Vikings were always 1 or 2 good plays away from being right back in the game. And I thought that was more so on the Steelers, not to knock, what the Vikings did themselves, but I thought that was more so on the Steelers just having poor game management. But they also find themselves at 3-1 right now with a 2-game lead in the AFC North. So, all the wins count the same. It doesn't matter how you get there. Carson Wentz.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Carson Wentz, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Justin Jefferson, 10 receptions for 126 yards. Justin Jefferson had probably what would have been a touchdown if the turf monster didn't get him. And he takes a really bad slip that is just brutal to watch for the Vikings, and especially Jefferson himself as the guy who slipped. But a really good showing from Jefferson in that game despite the loss.
Here's the other thing too, and I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant. I'm also pissed off that my Padres are losing right now in this playoff game. They're going to go home. But the main thing is, I also think that a lot of this comes down to O'Connell's play calling, right? O'Connell down the stretch was abysmal with his play calling. So much so, I was throwing stuff in my TV, being like, what in the hell are we doing? I'm honestly getting to the point where there's been multiple times through his tenure that it's the most questionable play calling of all time. I understand he was coach of the year. I think he's great with quarterbacks. I think he's a great team leader. I don't think he's the best play caller when it comes to in crunch time. I think that there should be someone else taking the reins as the offensive play caller when it comes down to the stretch so that he can run the team. He can be the coach of the team and be in charge of actually like controlling the game manager.
The game manager.
Yes. Because I think when it comes to play calling down the stretch and we're behind, it really scares me having him in charge of all of that.
Interesting. That's something I'm going to keep my eye on because I watch a lot of Vikings games in my household. So I'm going to keep my eye on that moving forward because I've always been a big fan of O'Connell.
I am too.
But I don't watch enough to have an opinion on something specific but important like that. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. But I've always been a very big McConnell fan. So the Steelers win that game 3-1, 2-game lead in their division. Probably a far better start than the Steelers thought they would have to this year, even with Aaron Rodgers, who is now 41 years old. I think we had the biggest upset of the season this past week as well. Los Angeles Chargers go to MetLife and drop a game to Jackson Dart in his debut. Now, I don't think he did anything particularly special, Jackson Dart, but I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you got to be excited about just the energy that he brought. And obviously that is raised exponentially when you win. It's raised even more when you beat a good team. It's raised even more when it's your first win of the season. I mean, this was as good of a debut as I think Jackson Dart could have hoped for. It wasn't without heartbreak. It is the Giants. They lose Malik Neighbors. The guy very sadly shredded his knee, and it felt like the Scatterbo, Jackson Dart, Neighbors trio was going to be what you were watching the season for if you were a Giants fan and you just lost one of, if not maybe the most exciting and important part of that trio. But Jackson Dart came out, nothing special. 13 for 20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, and they won the game. And I thought that he played in a way that was just like, who cares? It was his attitude of like, I'm going to run. If I take a big hit, who cares? I'm going to sling the ball. If it gets picked off, who cares? Like, we're an 0-3 football team. Let's get some juice into this team or let's die trying. And that's what Dart brought. And I thought it was everything that you could have hoped out of a rookie in the situation that they're in right now. I thought Scatterbo looked good again. This kid is becoming quite the player through a month of football. 25 carries for 79 yards. Jackson Dart got his own rushing touchdown with 54 yards rushing. I don't know if anybody really thought Dart was going to make a whole lot happen with his legs at the NFL level, but he did it in this opening game. Once again, against a really good team. The Chargers are a great team. I think a lot of people thought coming into this game that they were probably a top 2 team in the AFC, and they got knocked off in MetLife by the New York Giants. And, I think that the Chargers are going to be fine. I think that we're going to see them win a whole lot of games in the league this year. And, they weren't able to score only 18 points, but a lot of guys put up big numbers. Amari and Hampton, the rookie, 128 yards and a touchdown. Oh, my God. Quentin Johnson, you want to talk about a man reborn? That's a man reborn right now, the way Quentin Johnson has been playing. Everyone was ready to call him a bust. Everyone's ready to say this guy is an NFL wide receiver, blah, blah, blah. They got to get a new guy. They got to move off of him. 98 yards and a touchdown on 8 receptions for Quentin Johnson. I mean, wow. Like the New York Giants defense really bent but didn't break in this game, and that worked out very well for them. Again, they held the Chargers to just 18 points, but this was a massive upset that I did not see coming. And I'm happy for Giants fans. Like, Dart is an exciting quarterback. What did you make of his debut?
Yeah, no, this lost me a lot of money in my Survivor Pool league. So thank you so much, Jackson Dart. But no, honestly, all the credit to Jackson Dart. Like, this was a tough game to go in against too. The Chargers are 3-0. They were going in, one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And Jackson Dart went in there with a I don't give two shits kind of attitude. Like he was like, I'm the guy. I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to prove to you guys why I'm going to be the one that's going to take over. And he went in there. He didn't have to do too much. Like you said, 13 for 20, 111 yards and a touchdown. Like it didn't matter. Literally, they wanted any kind of sign of life from a quarterback for the Giants. They've been needing that for a while. And I think he gave them that. Honestly, I think the player of the game was Cameron Scadaboo. Like Scadaboo has just been amazing. Honestly, what a week for rookie running backs across the league. Like coming out parties, even though Cameron Scadaboo has been doing well for a couple weeks now, but coming out party for Hampton, Genty, like we're finally seeing these guys on our screens that these rookie running backs absolutely take over in games. I mean, the Chargers played well, but I think that defensively against this rookie, I was expecting more from this Chargers defense that we didn't get to see. But like you said, Quentin Johnson, absolute beast. He's actually living up to his draft status. And I'm happy for Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart has a lot of heat going into this, into this next week, and a lot of momentum on his side going forward. And I love to see him take over. Now, the question is, before the trade deadline comes up, what are the Giants going to do with either Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston? I feel like there's a lot of teams really going to be vying for those two quarterbacks. So let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and that could be really exciting. And I mean, at this point, I think somebody will take him. But at this point, would you even want Russell Wilson as your quarterback?
No.
I mean, he was booed off the team by the Giants fans in what game was that? Against the Chiefs, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was booed off the field, and they had they were at like 4th and goal. No, not even 1st and goal. He was just throwing the ball out of the back of the end zone.
Throwing in the tunnel.
Yeah, like, and I have zero doubt in my mind, and I know that this is a bit of a conspiracy theory, but I think that was like a bit of an FU to the fans. I think he was like, I put up 500 yards last week and almost beat the Cowboys for all you guys, and you're booing me now because we're going up against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Like, we're already not going to win this game. Screw you guys. I'm going to throw this ball. I'm going to call a QB draw on a play that we should never be calling a QB draw. I think that was Wilson that called that play after whatever Dayball actually wanted. Just ran 5 yards and fell down, and then threw the ball into the stands 3 times out of 4 plays. Like, there's no reason that a quarterback with the experience of Russell Wilson would ever do that unless it was intentional. Like, on 4th down, the first 3 downs, other than the QB draw, but the other 2 plays where he threw it into the tunnel and the other one where he just tossed it into the stands, like, okay, I get it. Maybe there was nothing open. 4th down on your last possession of the game, you're throwing an uncatchable ball. There's no reason to ever do that. Like, throwing an interception is better than that. There's no reason to ever do that. I think that he was like, y'all are going to boo me. All right, see ya. I'm out of here. So that's my conspiracy theory coming out of that game. But
can you see, though, like a Russell Wilson or even a Jameis Winston going to the Bengals? Like, the Bengals need a quarterback.
Yeah, but I think I could see a Jameis going. I think everybody hates Russell Wilson when they get to their team. When he gets to their team, I think the players don't like him. I think coaching staffs don't like him, and I think the fans certainly don't like him. Like, okay, he left Seattle with a poor relationship with Pete Carroll, losing a lot of games on a team that he won a whole lot of games with, including Super Bowls. He goes to the Broncos in a big deal trade. He instantly falls out with Sean Payton, who's one of the most revered coaches in football right now. And then he goes to the Steelers. He crashes out with Pittsburgh, 1 and done in the playoffs. And now he's at a quarterback graveyard in the New York Giants, and he's got booed out of the stadium there. Like, I mean, how many teams did I just name? 5?
Yeah.
And he's crashed out of all of them, and he doesn't leave in good fashion. He doesn't leave and people are like, hey, we love Russ, but he's moving on. Like, he's a journeyman quarterback now. He's playing himself out of the Hall of Fame. Like, I think he's gotten to that level where he's going to these terrible teams that need bridge journeyman quarterbacks, and he's getting booed off of these teams. Like, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer anymore.
Sorry if you see me reacting. This Padre game is really giving me anxiety right now. Tatis is just swinging at everything with everything he's got. So, I agree with you. I think that the home run status, the Hall of Fame status of Russell Wilson is definitely taking. I still think that he's got to be considered in the upper echelon of being able to be in the Hall of Fame, especially what he's done in his past. But man, is he tarnishing any kind of memory of him when legacy. It comes to the latter half. Yeah, any kind of his legacy. Exactly. Do you want to get into one of these other games though?
Yeah, sure. A guy that you mentioned, and we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this because I think it is ultimately two pretty inconsequential teams. But a guy that you mentioned in Ashton Jeanty had his coming out party for the NFL in a game that they lost against the Chicago Bears in Las Vegas. But Jeanty, 21 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. A really, really great day for him in a game that they lost right at the end there. The Chicago Bears led by Caleb Williams, who had 212 yards on the day, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. I think that what we're seeing here with the Chicago Bears is Ben Johnson, former offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, now the head coach for the Chicago Bears, is finally getting his philosophy implemented. And I think he's finally getting that philosophy implemented into his quarterback. And I think Caleb Williams is starting to realize, okay, this whole Superman cape routine is over. Do what Ben Johnson says and we will win football games. I have the talent. Ben Johnson has the mind and the playbook. Just follow the playbook and do what I do well. Stay away from things I don't do well, and we can win football games. I think that we could see the Bears actually, be kind of one of those in the hunt teams by the time we get to December. I wouldn't be surprised. I thought they looked good in a game that was not easy for them, that was away from home, that had an opposing offensive player having an all-star caliber day in Ashton Jeanty, and they found a way to win late in the game. Now, would I be surprised if the Bears are a complete nothing burger by the time we get to December? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's the Chicago Bears. But are they doing things in these early weeks? And I'm it's hard to ignore that. Yeah, they are. And him going down the field late and scoring with 90 seconds left on the clock to win the game. I was impressed.
At the same time that we're talking about them going up against the Raiders, right? Raiders,
I agree.
The Raiders are really bad. And I kind of think that the Raiders might be out on the Geno experiment of it all, right? Yes, they made the trade for Geno, but I think we're seeing the demise of Geno as we watch it play out through the season. 14 for 21, 117 yards, 2 TDs, and 3 interceptions. I just really feel like Geno is pretty much done. I'm not seeing anything that I like in his game. And I think that he's letting, and I get it. They have a bad offensive line, possibly the worst offensive line in all of football. But he just does not look good out there. The fact that Jeanty was able to go for 138 yards and a touchdown on the ground
with that
offensive line, oh my God. It's mind-boggling. I really think that kid is going to be special in the NFL. Rome Odunze, another big week for him. 4 catches for 69 yards and touchdown. I think Rome is really becoming the number 1 receiver on this team. I agree with you. I think the Bears are going to be dangerous, but I don't know if I can give them full credit yet to possibly be a playoff contender. I'm going to need to see more. Yes, they beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys secondary is absolutely awful, even though they just tied against the Packers, who everyone was crowning as Super Bowl champions after the Michael Parsons trade. I do want to see more from this Bears team, but they do look hot right now.
Looking at my Baltimore Ravens, who went to Kansas City, a place where they can never, ever, ever seem to win. The last time they won that game was by a score of 9-6 in Kansas City back in 2012, the year that the Ravens last won the Super Bowl, last appeared in the Super Bowl. And they lose by double digits for the first time since 2021 against the Miami Dolphins at home in week 2 back in 2021. So that's a very long stretch. That's nearly 4 years of not losing by double digits, of not losing by 2 possessions. And they lose by 2 possessions. They lose by 17 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a complete nightmare game. It was, everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. It was laden with mistakes by Lamar, a bad turnover, a really bad fumble. It was laden with excellent execution and offensive play by the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 270 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 turnovers, to Lamar's 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and a fumble, plus 48 yards on the ground. Mahomes himself only had 5 yards on the ground, so a pretty quiet day for him on that front. But Lamar Jackson leaves the game with a hamstring injury, probably isn't going to play this Sunday. Roquan Smith leaves the game with a hamstring injury, probably isn't going to play this Sunday. Second-year cornerback who's been playing by far the best in the secondary, Nate Wiggins, leaves with an elbow injury. Derrick Henry was a ghost this game, which is becoming a pattern for some reason. But they did not want to put Derrick Henry in the game. They obviously were chasing the game a whole lot, but a big issue that I have with the offensive play calling with the Baltimore Ravens right now is it is very easy to telegraph what each play is going to be. If Justice Hill, the number 2 running back, is on the field, we're throwing the ball, or it's a design Lamar run. If Derrick Henry is on the field, we're handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. And I think that this worked very well last season because the tape wasn't out. It was our first year with Derrick Henry on the team. Now there's a whole season of film out there for defensive coordinators to study. And it's very clear, if Derrick Henry isn't on the field, they are not running the ball. That's just what it is. And, you know, this really came to a head against Kansas City last week because we couldn't get anything going at all, with the exception of the very first drive of the game, which was very much on script. And it was a great drive, and there were a lot of creative plays. But as soon as things went off script, it was a disaster for the Baltimore Ravens. Couldn't get any of their big playmakers involved. Zay Flowers had a pretty good day. He's having a career year, to be honest, through 1 month. 7 receptions, 74 yards, no touchdowns. But Lamar just looked very uncomfortable the entire game, and his day ended with an injury early in the fourth quarter. Again, Derrick Henry, a ghost, the defense non-existent once again. This team is in dire straits right now. They are in dire straits, and they're going up against a very, very bad but potentially energized Houston Texans team coming up this Sunday. And we'll get into that in a bit. But the injury report as of today for Baltimore had 14 players on the injury report. That is damn near half of your starting lineup on both sides of the ball. Yeah, I mean, it is an injury crisis in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson being the first name on the list that you're paying attention to. A report from the Baltimore Sun, one of the big papers here, said he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. According to the team, he's day-to-day right now. I think they're kind of just saying that so you don't know who to plan for, but I think we're going to see Cooper Rush for the next 2 weeks at quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. And that is as disgusting as it sounds for Ravens fans. The bye week is in 3 weeks. So you have the Texans this week. You got the Rams the week after that. Then you get the bye week. You're hoping Lamar can come out after the bye week healthy and ready to go for that 11-game stretch they have to end the season. But it's a season from hell. It is a season from hell right now for the Baltimore Ravens. And this happens every anniversary year. The last time we started the season 1-3 was 2005, the 10-year anniversary. The next time that we started 1-3 was 2015, the 20-year anniversary. And now we start 1-3 once again in the 30-year anniversary for the Baltimore Ravens. Back in 2015, everybody got injured, including Joe Flacco in that year. And now we find ourselves once again in an anniversary season where everybody's getting injured, including Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's just, and it's not just like dudes are getting injured. It's our best players are getting injured. Kyle Hamilton was on the injury report today, didn't practice. Roquan Smith that I mentioned was on the injury report. Lamar Jackson was on the injury report. All-Pro left tackle Ronnie Stanley was on the injury report. Patrick Ricard, All-Pro fullback, hasn't played a snap this season. Very important player for this offense. You pretty much have a 6 offensive linemen out there whenever you put Patrick Ricard on the field. Nate Wiggins that I mentioned is on the injury report. It's a complete disaster. Marlon Humphrey, all-pro cornerback, is on the injury report. Like, we could do a whole show about all the Ravens that are injured right now. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, no, it's honestly a plague with the entire NFL right now. Like, there are so many injuries everywhere across the board. Look, we just lost Malik Neighbors for the year. We just lost Tyreek Hill for the year. The Vikings' entire offense and defense is decimated. We've lost 12 starters this season so far to injury. You guys at 14. Like, there's a big injury problem in the NFL. And not to say it can't happen. It's the NFL. You know, this is a hard-hitting sport. It's going to happen. But it feels like this year, above many other years is just injury after injury after injury.
Yeah, like so many. And, the entire D-line for the Ravens is out right now. Nnamdi Madubuike, their star interior D lineman, who people were calling baby Aaron Donald just a couple of years ago, is out for the year with a neck injury. And from everything that it sounds like, nothing is confirmed, and I don't want to speak anything to existence, but that dude might not play football again. Like it looks really bad. And I'm hoping that that's an overreaction that people without proper information are insinuating, but it's pretty bad. Travis Jones is out right now with an injury. I think he returned to practice. I could be wrong about that today. And Broderick Washington is on IR. Kyle Van Noy, the veteran pass rusher who was their top sack leader last season, returned to practice today, which is a very positive thing. But I mean, those are 4 or 5 guys that I just named. Those are all starters on the D-line. All of them are not playing. So I don't know what to expect going in to this game Sunday against the Texans, but it is a mixture of really bad play mixed with a horrible injury bug on the team. And the result of that was a 37-20 loss in Kansas City. Embarrassing loss. And it's been an embarrassing season for the Baltimore Ravens so far. The only good thing is that it's October 2nd and there's a lot of football left to be played, but I mean, man, oh man, are things rough right now for the Baltimore Ravens. So they're going to go into this game against a bad Houston team that just won their first game of the season, 26-0 against a tragic Tennessee Titans team. So I mean, that Texans team is going to smell blood in the water. All they're thinking right now is we can go into Baltimore and we can kickstart our season. We just beat the god-awful Texans. We shut them out, scored a lot of points against them, 26 points. We can go into Baltimore and get a win. And all of a sudden, we're 2-3, beating one of the better teams in the league, and our season's ready to go. They're going to come in wanting to die for that win. And as bad as the Texans are, I feel very uneasy about that game, especially with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
Well, obviously, yeah, I'd be worried with Cooper Rush, but Cooper Rush, he's a serviceable quarterback, but it's not Lamar Jackson out there, right? And the other thing is as much as I gave a lot of, shit to the Raiders about their offensive line, the Houston Texans offensive line is right there arguing for the worst offensive line in all of football. They might have a historically bad offensive line, if I'm being honest with you. There's that one play from last week where the pass rusher just gets home instantly. The two offensive linemen, the guard and the right tackle, just block each other, and then they run forward, and you see 4 guys taking on 1 guy when their quarterback's getting his ass planted into the ground behind them. It's absolutely
a tragedy. So that's the only thing that gives me hope about having every starter on your defensive line hurt is you're going up against this Texans offensive line. Let's rip through the primetime games of last week. We had our first tie of the season. The Packers and the Cowboys, a 40-40 tie. Boy, it would have been a very big deal if the Cowboys were able to win that game for my bank account. Unfortunately, they weren't. 1 second left on the clock at the end of the game, and it was just enough for the Packers to be able to kick a field goal to force a tie. What do you make of ties in the NFL?
I hate it. I think there should always be some kind of college rules overtime situation, right? Like the tie is such a BS weighted format, and especially in the NFL where every game matters so much, where you have only 17 games all season to prove why you should be in the postseason, right? And for a game to end in a tie, it just feels disgusting. For the Packers, I love this because they should have lost that game. The fact that 1 second hung on the clock,
I know,
was mind-boggling. Whoever the person was in charge at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium to run the clock management and instantly stopped that clock from going past 1 second should be fired.
Yeah.
Because how does the Cowboys organization allow that to not just run out? Sorry,
I know.
If you wanted to join the stream.
No,
we got Jonny Fairplay coming in to join us now.
Johnny, fresh off the Whipple Ball game. Johnny, how'd it go? Did you guys win?
Oh, we lost 1-0.
Oh, despicable.
Sounds like a barn burner.
Well, Johnny, let me ask you this.
I love you guys so much. What sucks is I'm driving home from wiffle ball, and in my house I have my Kansas City Chiefs jersey to wear for this podcast for Gabe.
Well, thank God that didn't happen. And Johnny, so I got to ask you, what do you make of ties in the NFL? We had our first tie this past week. Do you like it? Do you hate it?
Oh my God! So I sent you guys my bet. I had $200 on the Packers winning and the 2 touchdowns. Whatever 2 guys need to score a touchdown, I guessed it. We were right. And so I got off. There's like, hey, you want to cash out $400? It's like, nope. You want to cash out $500? I'm like, nope. Bobby sends me the Mel Gibson skull. Hold
the line.
Hold. Could have gotten $1,200 if I had won the bet, but I'm like, oh, I really feel like $580 is a really good move. But nope, I do not hold. Or I do hold, and the beauty of it is right before when everything was going crazy the last 50 seconds of that game, I got offered a $200 cash out. I'm like, all right, we're good. It never happened. But holy moly, would $560 have felt good. A tie is garbage. Like, I was literally talking to my buddy Roundy like right before this podcast, and he was just like, and I was like, it was a tie. He goes, dude, he goes, a tie? I'm like, yeah. And I was just like, dude, in what sport is a tie good? He was like, most sports outside of America.
I mean, like, I think
people
that
love ties.
I think that they get too caught up in like the integrity of the game that it's like people do not care if it's exciting. If it's good TV, people don't care. The NCAA overtime is great TV. If you want to do a kicker competition and you move them back 10 yards and the first one to miss, that would be great TV. And nobody would care. Everybody would be happier with that than they would with a tie. And it would be fine. But I think that the old guard of the NFL is so obsessed.
Europeans will embrace a tie. There's like, oh my God, it was the greatest battle. It was so cool, and it ended in a tie, and it was great. Americans are we are very different than that, and it's just like, yeah, this shit sucks.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful, and there's so many viable ways to fix it that they refuse to implement, and I don't know why. I want to see the kicker competition. That would be fun.
Like NFL versus college football. Like we all love the NFL. College football is not as good as the NFL, but it has its moments. College football overtime is the most exciting thing in anything in sports.
It rocks. It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. I mean, I don't know. I take that back. An NHL shootout is probably the coolest thing in all of sports.
I like a PK shootout in soccer.
I like a PK shootout too.
I also same gimmick.
Yeah,
I think that
I'm not trashing either, but I love it. Yeah, a shootout, sudden death. Rules.
I think that the college way that they do it now is worse. I liked it back in the day when it was just keep going until someone loses.
Oh yeah. I liked it the old school. I do not like the changes. No, that's especially if you're betting.
I think
especially if you're betting, that really destroys your betting percentages. And I think that's why they changed it. I think Vegas influenced the way they're doing it.
Very much could be. There's Johnny's conspiracy theory for the day. The other two primetime games, the Monday night doubleheader. I mean, all right, the Jets are dust. They suck. Aaron Glenn will be fired by the end of the season. He is the easiest one-and-done coach of the year for the New York Jets. The Dolphins lose Tyreek Hill for the season. He looked very happy to have his entire leg shredded. So I don't know where that came from.
That was weird, right?
There was a video of someone who was behind the ambulance that had Tyreek Hill in it on the road, and they zoomed in on like the little window on the back of the ambulance, and you can see Tyreek Hill just like chopping it up and laughing with the paramedics. Like, he was very happy to have his leg shredded in half. So hopefully
I feel like we said something similar last week about what's the Raiders running back.
Genty. Who,
Genty would be smiling exactly the same in an ambulance if he could.
Well, it would be for different reasons though. Genty would be smiling because he would get some workload off of his shoulders. Tyreek Hill is smiling because he can just hang out and do cocaine with hookers in Miami for the rest of the season. Like, it's two very different reasons why they're smiling.
Hey, they have plenty of cocaine and hookers in Vegas, I assure you.
I'm sure they do. I like to think Genty is worried about his career right now. And the other Monday night doubleheader, the Bengals.
But I'm just saying, location-wise, Miami and Vegas are very cocaine and hooker-centric.
I mean, what I'm hearing is Vegas is dust now. I hear that Vegas is a ghost town. I don't think anyone wants to go to Vegas anymore.
I think we lost Johnny for a second.
Yeah, enough of the Vegas.
Dude, they're bringing WrestleMania back to Vegas.
That's how you know it's bad. This last Monday night game, the last game for the week before we look ahead to the next week, the Bengals versus the Broncos. This game, I think, is very self-explanatory. Broncos are a pretty good team with a pretty good quarterback and a pretty good head coach. The Bengals are a team with a terrible defense, and they don't have their star quarterback. And in my opinion, an awful head coach in Zach Taylor. And the Denver Broncos win 28-3. Not a whole lot to talk about there. Getting into next week's games, though. Week 5
I
of
won
the
money.
NFL.
I bet
You won money on that.
one.
Well, good stuff.
I was just like, this is free money, right?
In about 15 minutes, the Rams are going to be kicking off at SoFi against the 49ers. I mean, 8.5-point spread for the Rams. I'm big on the Rams tonight. I just think that with a very banged-up team and a Mac Jones at quarterback for the Niners, I don't think they stand much of a chance. Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This Niners team is so beyond, like, beat up. Like, they're just like our Baltimore Ravens and my Minnesota Vikings. Like, they're just as beat up, especially offensively. I think the Rams take control early, and I don't think they let up. I would think, I'm going to say 30-17.
Yeah, I think that tracks. Hopefully not that much, though, because I took the under, and it's at 43.5 tonight. The next international game of the season featuring the Vikings once again, but this time in London, taking on the Cleveland Browns. What do you make of this game, Bobby, for your Vikings? The Browns have a hell of a defense. It didn't show up as much as we thought they might against the Detroit Lions, but against a beaten-up Vikings team. I don't think this is an easy out, and it will be the debut of rookie quarterback, not Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, getting the nod for the Cleveland Browns in this London game. What a weird spot to make your debut. But how are you going into this, Bobby?
I'm sorry. If we let a rookie quarterback in his debut game on the road overseas get the best of us, the season's over. Like, our schedule does not get any easier. We go to the bye and we come back and play the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Lions. Like, it's not going to get easier for us. So we need to get this win here. We need to go into the bye 3-2. Dylan Gabriel against this defensive line and this defensive front, I feel very good about. But besides all the injuries, even all the injuries on offense, all the injuries on defense, no Van Ginkel this week, still no J.J. McCarthy. Oh, sorry, this game's getting wild. And it's just absolutely absurd to me if we lose to Dylan Gabriel in his debut game overseas. I think that we go in there and crush them, but I know I'm biased. I will still say that defense scares me. That defense is very strong, one of the best defensive lines in all of football for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go 24-14 Vikings.
24-14 Vikings. Johnny, rejoin us when you're in your studio, okay?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So looking at another game this week, that is a 1 p.m. that I'm very intrigued by. The Philadelphia Eagles are welcoming the Broncos to town. Only a 3.5-point spread in this game in favor of the Eagles. And I was very intrigued last week by that Tampa Bay Eagles game, and it was a very intriguing game. If it's not for a late game pick by Baker Mayfield, an awful pick for him to throw, I don't know if the Eagles get out of that one alive.
Yeah.
The Eagles just kind of keep coming up against these solid teams, and they keep barely finding with the Rams. They needed that miracle kick block at the end to win the game against the Eagles or against the Buccaneers. They needed a late game, terrible pick by Baker Mayfield to win the game. And I'm curious to see if they can get away with it again against the Broncos. They are so unconvincing for a 4-0 team. They're winning games, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. And it's early in the season, and you want to be able to win games early in the season just by the skin of your neck, just by the skin of your teeth, as you're trying to figure out, what your team is going to be, and other teams are kind of figuring it out too. But boy, oh boy, do the Eagles look unconvincing so far. Do you think they get away with it again against the Broncos in Philadelphia?
Well, they're already having problems in-house too. They've got players that are getting pissed off, like A.J. Brown, by not getting the ball right now. I think that the Eagles are a much superior team to the Broncos. I like the Broncos. Don't get me wrong. I do like the Broncos, but I think the Broncos do have holes. I will say this. The Eagles, does it not feel like every time we talk about the Eagles, they have a home game?
Yeah, right. A lot, yeah. Big
like,
homestand start. Last week was away. Last week wasn't.
It was away, but it felt like a home game too. I don't know why. I will say this though. That Eagles team, they're still the team to beat. They're still the Super Bowl champions. I think that the Eagles can get it done against the Broncos, but the Broncos, I wouldn't count them out. The Broncos can get it done. I just think the Eagles are the superior team right now. So I would say Eagles. I'm going to make it a close one. I'm going to say Eagles 20, Broncos 17.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against the Eagles right now, especially in this game where it feels like between that Rams game, the Bucs game, and now this Eagles game, and now this Broncos game. This feels like this is the one where they are the most better team. Like they have the biggest gap of talent and the biggest gap of ability between the team that they are going up against, right? I mean, like I feel like the Rams are a lot closer to the Eagles, and the Bucs are a lot closer to the Eagles than the Broncos are. Now, maybe that's this ends up being the game that they lose because sports, but I don't know. We'll see. How are your Padres doing right now, Bobby?
It's so bad right now. Okay, so it's so hard to focus on this with this game going on right now. 1-3 right now. 2 runner on first and second, 1 out, which it shouldn't have been an out. It was a ball. It was bullshit. And we got Cronenworth up at the plate right now. It's 2 runners on first and second, 3-1, top of the 9th. This is it for the Padres. They have to get 2 runs on right now.
Wow. All right, Bobby. Well, we are praying for you. I promise you that. As we're playing NFL Week 5. All right.
Oh no.
Oh no.
See, that's bullshit. Call. Sorry. Go ahead.
Looking at a game that I already talked about a little bit. The Ravens versus the Texans. Cooper Rush looks to be starting at quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens as Lamar Jackson joins a litany of injuries for the Baltimore Ravens right now. And it's a very sad time to be a Baltimore Ravens fan. But boy, this Texans team is bad. Now they're coming off a 26-0 victory against the tragic Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Right? That's kind of how I feel.
That's like beating the Alabama School of Finger Painting.
It's like winning season 48 of Survivor.
Shots fired.
But the Texans are going to be coming into this game smelling blood in the water. This is their, if they win this game, they could kickstart their whole season. They could come in and say, hey, we beat a great but banged up team in Baltimore. We've won 2 games in a row. We won a game away from home in a place where we historically play very bad in Baltimore. Like they are going to come into this game very, very juiced up. So we shall see how this goes. I don't have very high expectations. I think it's going to be a disgusting game. And I think the Ravens' path to victory is by giving the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times this game and let whatever happens as Bobby is putting on his Padres rally cap right now.
Oh, boy.
I can get it to go.
Oh, boy.
It is the last out.
It's a lot easier to put on a rally cap for a 5'4" guy than a 6'2" guy.
And it's for Mean, who's up at the bat too. So he's like a 5'4" guy right now.
2 outs, man on third, man on second, down by 2 runs. They need both of those base runners to score to extend their playoff run here.
That's it.
Sorry, just showing off my
and game over. We already talked about that game, Johnny.
Yeah,
we already talked about that game.
Yeah, do you like that game?
No, I didn't. It sucked.
Did you do a 10-minute diatribe?
No, because there's nothing to say. It's just everyone got injured. Everybody got injured. Lamar got injured. Roquan Smith got injured. Nate Wiggins got injured. Everybody got injured that game. Like it was a mess. Ronnie Stanley went out injured. So it's
Ric Flair got injured.
Right. He died. Ric Flair died.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm with my 8-year-old earlier, and somehow John Cena I was listening to a wrestling podcast. They were talking about John Cena, and my 8-year-old goes, didn't John Cena die? And I was like, what? And I'm like, no. I mean, like his career's dying. Like he's retiring. And she was just like, I'm like, but he's fine. He's on the Peacemaker. He's good. And she goes, I'm pretty sure he died, Dad. I'm like, John Cena. I was like, I go, did you mean Hulk Hogan? She goes, yeah, same thing. I was like, oh wow. I mean,
it's the face of the company.
Very, very comparable in a lot of ways.
The baby face of the company.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, there's not a whole lot of particularly great matchups this week.
No, really not.
I mean, you have like the Titans versus the Cardinals, who cares? The Dolphins versus the Panthers, who cares? The Giants versus the Saints, who cares? The Cowboys versus the Jets, who cares? Should be Cowboy domination. The Raiders versus the Colts. You expect the Colts to win that game, especially at home. Not a great 1 p.m. slate at all. The 4 p.m. slate, though, has got some interesting games. The most interesting of which has to be the Buccaneers heading to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. What do you make of this game, Bobby?
No, I'm excited for this game because I think this is a game that's going to tell us a lot about both teams. The Tampa Bay Bucks, like they went toe for toe with the Super Bowl champions. They've looked good all season. Now they are themselves facing injury. Obviously, Mike Evans is going to be out of the game, unfortunately, this week. But they look like one of the top tier teams in the NFL. They really do. Seattle, who's looking really good as well, with Sam Darnold playing out of his mind right now. I'm really excited to see this matchup. I think it's always a tough place to go when you're going East Coast to West Coast to Seattle, especially with that 12th man crowd. I think it could be dangerous. I really like Tampa in this game, even with Seattle being at home. But I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say 21-14 Tampa.
I think this is the best game of the week. I think this is the game of the week. All these other games are pretty gross. I mean, even this 49er Rams game, because all the injuries the Niners have, is going to be pretty gross. The other 4 o'clock game that looks pretty interesting is going to be the Commanders at the Chargers. It's crazy how many of these games should be great, but big injuries are making them not great. You know,
this season sucks. Can we agree this season sucks?
That's what Bobby was saying. He was like, these injuries all across the league are really bad.
This is the word. I mean, like literally, I feel like I'm watching a scab season of NFL.
Right now, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy are all injured right now. I mean, those are like 4 of the top.
They're the guys on the commercials.
Yeah, they're the commercial guys.
You watch the NFL and you see a commercial during the NFL. The guys on the commercials are not playing. Other than Jalen Hurts for Little Caesars, that's shitty pizza.
Yeah. And it's also not a great quarterback, if we're being honest.
Actually, it's Jake Lombard. I don't know. It's one of them.
But so this Commander,
it's an eagle. I know it's an eagle. I don't pay attention. As soon as I see Little Caesars, I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst. Does anyone like Little Caesars pizza?
Kyle Oswalt from season 47 of Survivor.
He likes Little Caesars pizza.
He loves it.
Tastes like plastic. I don't even think they use cheese. I think it's plastic.
Just gooey plastic.
It's the worst. I didn't think I loved Domino's. I love Domino's.
Yeah, I think Domino's is good. Well, they changed their recipe.
Yeah,
like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more than that, maybe like 10 years ago. But when they changed the recipe, everything changed. And as soon as Papa John left Papa John's, it all went to hell.
Yeah,
it all went to hell. So, but this Commanders Chargers game should be like the game of the week. This should be the game of the week. And instead of it being Jaden Daniels versus Justin Herbert in Los Angeles, the game of the week is Baker Mayfield versus Sam Darnold in Seattle. Like it's tragic right now. It's a tragic
What is happening in our lives?
And
It should be Jared Goff versus Joe Burrow at Cincinnati.
That should be game of the week. And we don't get that either. I mean, it's a disaster.
Well, Jaden Daniels is back, right?
I don't know. Is he?
We don't know.
According to my fantasy football deal, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
He's scheduled to play.
Okay, so maybe he just hasn't been ruled out yet as well.
Yeah.
Which
So
is a good sign.
Allegedly, and I will be rechecking. Allegedly, Daniel, he's starting. So that's a
Commanders Daniels plans to play. Okay, so he should be.
That's a lot sexier on paper.
For sure. And this is a fun game. You have a 2-2 team of the Washington Commanders who would like to be above 500, and you have the Chargers who are coming off their first loss of the season to the New York Football Giants. So they're looking to get their season back on track here. So this will actually be a pretty fun game, I think. Who do you give the edge to, Bobby?
Sorry, which game did you say?
Commanders with Jaden Daniels returning from injury at the Chargers.
I will say I'm going to give the Chargers a heads up here because I think that they need this win. Like they need this win after an embarrassing loss last week at the Giants. I think the Commanders, yes, obviously they need to win with Jaden Daniels back, but I think the Chargers have a little more to prove. I'm going to say Chargers 28, Washington, I'm going to say 23.
Do you know how infuriating it must be for the grounds crew at SoFi Stadium that they have to do a Rams game on Thursday and then a Chargers game on Sunday?
Right.
That's got to be a nightmare, right?
They do concerts and stuff in between games all the time. So, I mean, I feel like they've got it pretty much set in stone.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
have you ever met a groupie? They're well, they're hitting the circuit, brother. I would hire groupies to work the grounds crew.
There you go. The field, yeah. Sunday Night Football is going to be the Patriots versus the Bills. Now, this is going to be a great litmus test game for the Patriots. What is Drake May made of? Everyone is saying that he's the best young quarterback in the league this year. What is Drake May made of? What is Mike Vrabel in his first year with the New England Patriots as a coach? What is he made of going up against who many people are saying is a top 2 team in the league in Buffalo as well? Is there any hope for the Patriots in this game?
Yeah, I think that they're a good team, but I think that they're also going to get smashed at Buffalo. I think Buffalo is easily top 2 team in the league, like you said. I think that they're going to go into a very rough environment where the Buffalo fans are going to be rowdy as all hell.
Yes.
I think that Drake May, as good as he's looked, I still think that he doesn't have the pieces in place to really take them over the edge. I don't think they're a playoff caliber team.
And this crowd helps. Like as you said, exactly. Bobby, this crowd helps big time.
I've been in that crowd twice as the opposing fan. It's hostile.
It's nasty. Yeah.
So Buffalo, I think it's a blowout win for Buffalo. I'm going to say 30-13.
It's starting to get cold. It's starting to get cold up in Buffalo, too. It's starting to get a little nippy down here in Baltimore, so you know it's getting cold in Buffalo.
Well, guess what? It's also cold in Boston sucks too, Gabe.
Well, yeah, sure. No doubt about that. I agree. But there's something about Buffalo where it's so decrepit up there that it feels colder. Because at least in Boston, there are people. And you look around and there are tall buildings. But in Buffalo, you look around and there's nothing. There's nothing out there but sad people in a football stadium, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
And when they get into the stadium, they're still sad, but they're at least drunk, and that makes it go away.
All right. Do we need to go to Buffalo? Oh, I'm going to see Buffalo versus the Bears here Monday Night Football.
Oh, okay. That'll be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Should be. We'll see.
We'll see. Caleb Williams.
We'll see.
In the last game,
I'll be there.
The last game of the week, the Monday Night Football game. No doubleheader. I love the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. They should do it every week. Get rid of Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Monday night every week.
No, I don't get rid of Thursday night. Thursday Night Football is fine, Gabe. I don't have a problem with Thursday Night Football.
I don't like Thursday
Night.
Get
rid of that one shitty game and
on Sunday, and then move it to Monday night.
Yeah. I think the double headers though on Monday should always be the 4 o'clock block for the West Coast, like be the 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Like,
okay,
I'm with Bobby on that. I understand it's more convenient for us East Coasters, but I say double headers are great, and the second one is always a West Coast team.
Yes.
Boom.
Make it 4
like
o'clock,
that.
7 o'clock, not where they're overlapping. You have to pick and choose which one you have to watch.
Yeah, no. Why do we need to pick and choose? I don't need to. Listen,
Yeah.
I got 2 kids. Do I need to pick and choose which one's my favorite daughter? No.
Yes.
Even though one of them has decided.
So this last game is
I was with the other one tonight.
the Chiefs in Jacksonville. This spread is surprising to me.
Yeah.
It's only 3.5 points in favor of Kansas City, coming off a big get-right game against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or is Vegas giving the Jags and Trevor Lawrence a little too much love here, you think?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
they're very much
Yeah.
so thinking about that whole. It's in Jacksonville. They're riding the momentum of this defense for Jacksonville that looks very good. But
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence against Kansas City. I'm taking Kansas City all day, every day in this game.
Get in now before that spread turns into 5.5 because it will by game time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's going to be an absolute beatdown by the Kansas City Chiefs. So we have
Jersey.
there you go. We have one more segment that we like to do on this show.
Yes.
It's my favorite segment of the show. But before we do that, let's get a quick word from our sponsor.
Here we go.
Watertown Whiskey, guess what? Philadelphia Eagles back-to-back. Here we go, Super Bowl champions. You see, Daniels, it is the Commanders' year. Woo! Super Bowl bound Watertown Whiskey. It's back-to-back. The Chiefs are going back, and they're winning this time. Watertown Whiskey. Y'all boys heading on down to 8 Mile. Lions got this. Watertown Whiskey. It's the AFC's year, but it's the Chargers. There's only one thing I gotta say. Watertown Whiskey. Jets. Jets. Shut on. Hartford Whalers. We're going to the Super Bowl. They're close to Watertown, right? There's one thing we can all agree on. Watertown Whiskey. Escape the ordinary. WatertownWhiskey.com. Drink responsibly.
Watertown whiskey made with natural flavors. It is delicious. It goes.
You don't bring that to work with you?
No, I don't. I keep it at home so that when I go home and scream about all the money that I've lost gambling, I can drown it down with something. So we're getting into the last segment.
That's the best promo ever. Can we do a new commercial with you just crying about the money you've lost in betting?
That would be really good, right? And then that would be really good, actually.
All right,
yeah.
well, hey, you have an assignment for the week.
All right, sounds good. I'll do it.
I would love to not see me wearing with my stupid Whalers jersey. I don't even...
The last segment of every show that we like to do. I think this is so fun. Bobby pioneered it. It is what is the most expensive and what is the cheapest ticket for any NFL game going
I got the most expensive
week. And
all right. Yeah, go ahead, guys. I'm going to get your opinion. We'll start with most expensive if you want to start with that, Johnny.
This is an easy one.
All right, go ahead. What's most expensive in your opinion, Johnny?
The London game. Duh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a London game, but to give a different answer, I think it is going to be. I think it will be Broncos at Eagles at the link.
Oh wow!
One of you is right. One of you has it down correctly. The Vikings at Cleveland is $107 a ticket. The Denver at Philly game, most expensive of the week, $273 a ticket.
Oh, bang!
Wow! If only that will transfer over, then you'll make a shitty commercial for Watertown Whiskey.
All right, so now that we have that, Gabe, you got on the board with the top price for the week. Can you guys get the lowest?
You know what you win, Gabe?
What do I win?
Chlamydia.
Oh,
there you go.
Do I win a third round on the floor? Something that you didn't have?
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Hey, guess what? If you win this next one, you know what you win?
What?
Gonorrhea.
Oh, get me on the floor, Johnny. Let me show you how it's done.
Wow.
You know, here's all that.
I was told it was a blowout, and I'm watching the show. I'm just like, that was pretty fucking close.
It was as close as it could have been.
What the fuck?
I mean, she had 9 seconds left going into her last answer. Okay, cheapest ticket of the weekend.
Oh, yes. 9 seconds.
All right, guys. So Johnny, you go first. Cheapest ticket of the week. What do you have?
Oh, Miami.
This should be easy.
Is Miami at home?
No, Miami's away.
Okay.
Miami's at Carolina.
Oh, wow. There we go. Carolina.
I'm gonna say the Giants. Ooh, actually, is it Texans at Baltimore?
It is neither of those games. I'm gonna give you each one more chance.
Okay, my guess before Texans at Baltimore is gonna be Giants at Saints.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
what's yours?
I'm doubling down on that.
Nope.
Oh,
the cheapest tickets of the week at $19 a ticket. Tennessee Titans at Arizona Cardinals.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, that tracks, I guess. That makes sense, but still.
That's
wow.
free. That's free money that we both left on the table. You know what? Neither one of us get gonorrhea.
Damn it. I wanted it so bad. That's going to do it for us.
Quick. This show is not only fun, it's also informative. Gonorrhea is not a country and chlamydia is not a flower.
Oh, there you go. And on that note, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for the Week 4 recap and the Week 5 preview of the Reality After Show for the National Football League. Bobby, get us out of here.
Yeah, with that said, guys, check out Gabe's Big Moves every Tuesday night. He goes live talking about Survivor gameplay. Definitely check that out here on Reality After Show. You can find me at Goodsby Bobby. You can find Gabe at Gabe Ortis. You can find Jonny Fairplay at Jonny Fairplay. Also, check out my stream. I do my stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 12 noon Pacific to 2 p.m. Pacific, talking all things reality TV, both on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby, and at Reality After Show on YouTube for Reality After Show. You can find them both places. With that being said, shout out to our sponsor, Watertown Whiskey. Thank you again to them. Drink responsibly, and we will see you guys next week. Later.
Bye, everybody.
See you.